Are you or your loved one thinking about aging in place? What does that even mean? How do I do it? What should I be thinking about? These are things that we're going to get into. Aging in place simply means aging in the home that you live in, not moving out to maybe a retirement community or an assisted living facility or in with family or friends, but rather staying in your home. And that can look different for so many people for a lot of reasons. And it's something that can change with time as well. While we don't have a crystal ball, we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, we do know where we are now, and we can prepare and anticipate potential changes down the road. I'm Andrea West. I've been a realtor since 2010, and I'm the senior real estate specialist. My colleagues and I at my company have gone through additional training and education with the National Association of Realtors to earn the SRES designation. So that means we work with buyers and sellers of all ages, but when it comes to seniors, we bring to the table a higher level of understanding and additional resources to help seniors and their family members make more informed decisions and hopefully take a little bit of that stress out of what could be an overwhelming situation. So no matter your age, whether you're a senior or not, or it's you or your loved one, I would be happy to offer you a free consultation and love to meet you. My contact information is below. You can shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email, or you can book a Zoom or a phone call with me up in the QR code in my banner. I look forward to hearing from you. Top 10 things to do around the house to help you age in place with grace. So before we get into the top 10 things I would suggest to start with, I want to say it's a little bit different for everyone because everyone's house is different. Everyone's mobility issues, challenges, and abilities are different. Everyone's place in life is different, right? You might have cognitive decline, you may not. You may be very able-bodied and very active, but maybe there's an injury that happens down the road you don't even know about. Obviously, we don't know the future, we can't tell the future. Sit down with yourself and your loved ones and make a list. Make a list of potential hazards in your home. You can start with my top 10 things to get your checklist going, but look around, see what needs to be addressed. Look for things that you can trip and fall over. Look for ways that you can slip and fall. Look for potential fire hazards, health and safety hazards, things around the house that maybe have gone unmaintained or not looked at for a while, right? Those things can all be things to put on your list. There's no wrong way to start this. The right way is the right way for you. Aging in place, what does that mean? Aging in place means staying in the home that you live in and continuing to age throughout there. So in the senior community, 55 plus, everyone's on a different part of their journey. Some people might be more active and able to do more things for themselves throughout their daily lives, while other people maybe have more physical, emotional, or mental limitations and need more support. Regardless of where you are at, it's always important to keep things in mind, even if it feels like it's in the distant future. It may or may not be. Because as we age and we want to age in place, there are things that we can do to help support ourselves and our loved ones in the future. So let's start with the top 10 things that we can do in the house to help you age in place with grace. And then 5 tips you can add into your daily life for health and longevity. So the number one place that we're gonna start with, one of the most common challenges, are the stairs. Now, if you live in a single story home, good for you, lucky you. You don't have to deal with stairs going up and down, going up to your bedroom, right? You can just kind of come in and out of the house. But if you're anything like my parents, you might have some stairs. It might be a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of a workout, right, to get to another part of your home. So my parents, they have a 4-bed, 2.5 bath house. All 4 bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms are on that top floor. Having those stairs between the main living level and the bedrooms started to pose a challenge for my dad, right? In his 80s, he was moving up and down really slow, and it was becoming harder, right? My parents were concerned. They talked about moving out at some point. In the end, they decided to stay home. But now, one thing to keep in mind, if the stairs are a challenge, but you can still do them, making sure you have railings or banisters all the way up and down the stairs on both sides, right? Because sometimes you're right-handed, so you go up the stairs with the right, but you're coming down, and then you have to use your left hand to go down the same stairs. Maybe your left hand's weaker, maybe it feels awkward, or maybe you're carrying something, right? Having them on both sides is hugely beneficial because maybe you're right-handed, maybe you're left. So going up or down the stairs in reverse might feel funny if you don't have railings on both sides. Plus, in case you are falling, having a railing on both sides can really help, maybe help you catch your fall or prevent you from falling. Another tip for the stairs, always make sure they're clear. So my parents have carpet on their stairs. So making sure that carpet's tacked down really well, there's not like ripples or edges that are coming up, right? Because those are more things you can trip on. Whether they're carpet or not, also making sure there isn't clutter along the stairs. That's really helpful as well. Make sure it's clear. If you're thinking the stairs and you are maybe not on the best terms, you want to move to something that's a little more full assist, or you know that's coming in the future, meeting with somebody about getting one of those lifts to go up and down the stairs can be awesome. My parents couldn't do it. They just did not have the structure to the stairs to be able to support that. They had this weird zigzag where you like went up 3 steps, then you turn to the right, and you go up 4 steps, and then there's a landing, and then it curves back this way and it goes up, I think 6 or 7 steps, and then you're at the top. So it kind of did this weird zigzag thing, not to mention they're like metal rods and banisters the whole way up, right? So they're not this supportive wall either. So even if they could finagle the angle of it, there just wasn't any wall to affix it to. And goodness knows those banisters were not in any condition to be holding anything. So if you can't do that, that's another thing to think about, right? If your stairs are kind of like my parents in one way or another, and you just cannot put that in, that's something to keep in mind as well. Number 2, to piggyback off of stairs, just keeping around your house flooring safe, right? So whether that be, uneven walkways, right? Sometimes tiles are not completely laid down correctly, or maybe carpets are pulling or buckling, or floors are buckling, right? These laminate floors, sometimes they bow, especially with the heat, the hot and cold changes, that can happen a lot too. So making sure that if you have carpet, it's tacked down really well, it's in good condition. As they wear, sometimes they can fray and they get these like holes. That's really easy to trip in, right? Making sure that the flooring is in good condition. And if you do have some of those, up and down like living rooms or bonus rooms or garages, putting tape along the border of the stairs if you can, or putting some sort of marking there if you think tape might be hard and might come off, right? If it's on carpet, something to help them remember that is there in some way, or putting a hand railing if possible, right? That's another thing to keep in mind. Number 3, another of the most challenging and heavy risk and fall areas, of course, is the bathroom, right? Getting in and out of the tub is probably the number one way that most seniors fall, because let's be honest, it's wet, it's precarious, and you're alone, right? So getting in and out of the shower or tub is something that you definitely want to proceed with, keeping caution in mind, and then cautiously as needed. So if you're in one of these older homes and you have one of those beautiful clawfoot tubs, probably one of the more difficult tubs to get in and out of. I know I've almost fallen out of them. We stayed at an Airbnb once, and I was getting in and out and had, like a little step stool to get in and out. And goodness, I had to step over the lip of the clawfoot tub. I'm short, so I think the clawfoot tub came up to my knee, right? And I got to step over and then down onto the step stool. That thing was scary, and there's nothing to hang on to because this clawfoot tub was in the middle of the bathroom, no walls nearby. So, I was having a hard time, and it happens to all of us, right? So if you have one of those, definitely think about changing it out. And if you're thinking about changing it out and you want another bathtub, think about getting in and out of that bathtub, right? If you're getting in and out of the tub, don't get one that's too high. And better yet, get one of those walk-in tubs if you can. If your house can support getting the walk-in tub, that's a great way to avoid any falls or trips going in and out of the bathtub, because you're less likely to get water on the ground from the tub. You're less likely to trip because you're walking in and out and you're not stepping over things. If you aren't a tub person and you're open to a walk-in or a roll-in shower, I think that's a great way to go. I mention a roll-in shower because maybe you don't need a wheelchair now, and maybe you never will, but injuries happen. And it's so helpful to have one of those showers that can roll in. My mother-in-law just got one of those flat bottom showers, so that if you did have to put a wheelchair in, at least you don't have a lip to go over it, right? She doesn't need it yet, but she's like, I just want to know that if I ever do, it's already in place. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to try and get it done when that comes, because injuries happen. We have car accidents, we have sport accidents, we have injuries and illnesses. Things happen that are out of our control. So having that in place is hugely beneficial. It would have really helped my mom. She had both her knees replaced and she couldn't do those stairs because I mentioned those stairs were just really not forgiving in any way. She ended up having to stay down on the couch, and I think she did sponge baths for like a week or two till she could do the stairs. Luckily, she had one of those walk-in showers, but it would have been great had she had a roll-in shower downstairs to help her go through that hard time, because then after that, she was back up and walking around a few weeks later. That's going to bring us to number 4. Number 4 is also in the bathroom. It's the toilet. A lot of things people don't think about. When we bought our house, we bought it, God, it's been almost 5 years ago now. We bought it from an older couple, and they were both very tall. They're both, over 6 feet tall. And my family's on the shorter side. We're not very tall. We're not over 6 feet by any means. And so they had this really high toilet. And so for, the first year or two, we didn't change the toilet out. I didn't need to. It was working just fine. But it just annoyed the heck out of me because it was so tall and I'm so short. It just didn't feel like it was made for me. And it wasn't. And it wasn't until I really thought about the mechanics and started, educating myself more on seniors that I realized taller toilets are good for taller people, but also super beneficial to seniors because they're not having to get up and down as high. There's less risk of falling, less risk of, losing your balance. And it's so true. They're very stable. It really makes a lot of sense in that mechanics. Another really great thing I like to point out, put in those grab bars next to the toilet. You're already doing it in the bathtub or the shower. Super helpful. That'll help you have something to hold on to getting in and out. Another thing that can be really helpful as you age or are recovering from something, having a bidet put in. This can help alleviate a lot of problems that people have and a lot of cleaning that needs to be done after using the facilities, right? Can alleviate some arthritis that might be in play and help get things moving down south. Might help alleviate some difficulty cleaning if you have some arthritis or mobility issues. And then also might help get things moving for some folks that may or may not be backed up. Another really great thing to have. Plus, check out the heated seat feature. Also really nice, especially on those cold days. That's going to bring us to number 5. Bedroom. We're going to look at bed rails. Now, a lot of people think, I don't want these bed rails on my bed. Okay, fine. That's fine. Put something at your bed to help you get in and out better. Whether that be, a walker or a stand or something close by. People can roll out, but more common it's when people are getting in and out of the bed because we can have these really plush, cushy mattresses or this memory foam or these toppers, right, that kind of make it more difficult to maneuver around. So having something that's going to help stabilize and move in and out of the bed is going to be really important. Also, don't elevate it too much. A lot of people elevate these beds really high and then they have to kind of hoist themselves up to get into the bed. Lower it down or even get rid of the box spring. That can be really helpful as well. Make sure it's a good supported bed, of course, and that's going to work. But, getting rid of extra height means hopefully less ways of falling. And again, on the opposite end, you don't want to put it too low because then that's going to be harder to get in and out of. So make sure it's the right height for you. Another thing around the house is number 6. Let's talk about lighting. Now, a lot of people know about those clap on, clap off lights. Awesome. My personal favorite, lately we've moved into the smart lighting. The great thing with smart lights is they're just a change in the light bulb, which is really cool. So you don't have to rewire anything in the house. You don't have to get, an Alexa or a Google Home system or anything like that, right? You're not integrating a whole thing. You're really just buying a light bulb that talks to your phone. So if you or your loved one that is aging is more tech savvy and they're able to open an app and do it that way, awesome. We use the Philips Hue app. So whenever we want to turn things on and off, I do it from my phone. It's on Bluetooth. So I can be on the couch and I can turn all the lights off. I don't have to get up and turn them off for the movies. I don't have to get up and turn them off for bed. I mean, it's pretty great. So that's a really nice feature to have that'll help people from having to get up unnecessarily to turn the lights on or off, and really help cut down on potential fall risks, especially if mobility is an issue. Plus, they've got really great dimming features, so be a little bit nicer or harsh or less harsh on the eyes, right? If you're using those as well. Number 7, let's think about things around the house a little bit more. Let's talk about decluttering. This is a huge common thing to think about. I know it was with my parents. I've shared in other episodes, and I'm happy to be an open book and share about it again. My parents both had Alzheimer's dementia at the same time. My mom, unfortunately, got hers very aggressive. My father had been a very slow, steady pace. So when it turned out that mom got something very similar to dad, we knew that they could not go back home until their home was safe, because it was a trip and fall hazard. It was a health and safety issue. It was something that was going to be a problem, because they were not able to maneuver and navigate the home in the same way anymore. My mom's balance and coordination was severely impacted as soon as she started having the signs and symptoms. Just within a few weeks, honestly, of her diagnosis, it was very hard for her to have good balance anymore. So these were things that we said, we need to get the house clear, we need to get it safe. And maybe you don't have as much clutter as my mother, because my mother really was, I would say, a borderline hoarder when she was able to accumulate stuff in her home. But a lot of people do have excess stuff at home. So I think it's important. Get family involved, make it fun, go through the boxes of memories and declutter things. There are also plenty of downsizing companies that can help you pack and move things or take things to donate, right? So even if you're not planning on moving, but you just want to have things less cluttered in your home, this is a great way to do it. You can have some of these companies come in or hire people to come in and help. If you want that extra support to help get rid of some of that excess stuff and have a little bit of a clearer home, you can reach out to Senior Settlers there in San Rafael. Libby Wood is the owner. She works the entire Bay Area, so not just the North Bay. They will come over, they'll give you a free estimate and a consultation about what you want to have removed from the home. So whether you decide to stay in your home and age there or not, having one of these companies and professionals come in with a clear eye and help you make a plan and then work with you as much or as little as you would like is hugely beneficial. Number 8, let's talk about area rugs and things on the floor that belong on the floor, but maybe they don't need to be there. Or if they do need to be there, what can we do to make them more safe? So when we think about area rugs, they can be decorative pieces, or if we have hardwood floors, they might be a little bit more needed than not. So if you need that hardwood floor covering, right, or that rug, make sure it's stuck down really well. So either using, good tape, especially around the corners and all the way around the edges. Keep it tight so you don't want it buckling or wrinkling up or anything, because that's so important when making sure mobility around these areas can happen. You don't want someone to trip and fall just because the rug came up on the corner. That's the worst. Number 9, automatic turnoffs. If you can have appliances or things that have automatic turnoffs, this is hugely helpful. In the bathroom, it's great. You can have one of those vacancy switches so that when you come in, the light turns on. When you leave, it turns off a few minutes after you're out. Helps keep the utility bills down. More importantly, if you or your loved one think your memory might be slipping a little bit, or you just want to plan ahead for that possibility, that's something that's not a bad idea, right? So getting ovens and stovetops that have automatic turnoffs is a really good way to go. We're a little less worried about things like microwaves. Eventually they do turn off, right? But making sure that it's really easy to push those buttons and really easy to see the numbers, because that's another thing. People can turn them on, forget they're there, and goodness knows I've done it. Sometimes you put in 5 minutes, you accidentally hit that extra 0 and it goes 50 minutes. The microwave's probably not going to burn your house down, but an error like that on a cooktop or an oven could be a big deal, right? So if you can have something with an automatic shut off, even better. Number 10, last but not least for a lot of people, the mail, right? And I say this because, if you're in a community where maybe you're in a condo and your mailbox is all the way down at the clubhouse or at the front desk, right? And you're, up the hill and around the corner, you either drive to go get the mail or you have to walk a really long way. That can be a big challenge. That can also be a potential place you can fall or get hurt. Now, another thing is maybe you're on a big country road and your mailbox all the way down at the bottom of the hill. Well, if you're still driving, great. Maybe you can get the mail coming in and out. But if you're not, or you don't go out very often and you need to check the mail every day, that can be really hard. And I know on a lot of those country roads or a lot of those roads with long driveways in my neighborhood, I know they do this. They don't like to walk all the way back to the house. My sister's got the house behind us. We have the house in front, and her mailbox is up in the front because the mailman's not going to walk down the driveway. That happens too. So finding good ways to get your mail hopefully up to your house can be really helpful. Ask a neighbor, ask a friend, see if maybe the postman can bring it up to your house. Make good with him, get him, buy him some cookies or make him some cookies, even better, right? I'm kidding, but not, anything to make your life a little bit easier, especially with things like mail. I hate having to check the mail. So if there's one less thing for me to have to get over mentally or physically to do it, I'm going to do that. So those are the top 10 things throughout the house that I would say to start with, right? Super important, make a list. Make a list, make a list, make a list. Talked about those top 10 things in the home to keep in mind. Let's talk about maybe the top 5 things in our daily lives to keep in mind. Really, it comes down to lifestyle choices. So let's start with number 1. Might seem like the most obvious. Staying active physically and mentally. This is hugely important. So keep in mind your own challenges and abilities, whether it be physical or mental. Push yourself a little, but keep it safe. That's hugely important. So physically, get outside. Vitamin D, fresh air, it really changes a lot of things. It helps our mood, helps our mental and physical well-being. It gives us energy. It's really just so much better than being inside all day and having a stuffy house, especially if you're not getting fresh air. So whether it be walking or cycling or hiking, maybe you're out playing pickleball, maybe you're doing yoga or Pilates, or weightlifting is really good to help prevent osteoporosis. There are tons of really good things you can do. My father, he was a huge fan of Tai Chi and Qigong. He did the videos at home. He just had DVDs, he popped them in, did them at home, even for like 10 or 15 minutes. Really helped him. He felt like he got a lot of energy. Really kept the blood flowing and his body moving. I mean, he lived to be 92. So not saying that's the way to go, but it didn't hurt. Mentally, really good to challenge yourself. Things like Sudoku, crossword puzzles, playing games with your friends. My mom really loved playing bananagrams. She'd get together with friends and they put all the words together. It keeps you challenged, right? You're always thinking of fun ways. I love categories, and I play a lot of chess online. I don't know. Maybe it's the way to go, maybe not. Find what works for you. Have fun with it, but challenge yourself. Try something new, do something interesting. Keep your mind active, and that's going to help a lot. It's really common in everyone's life, young, old. We sit down, we watch a lot of TV. We don't get up and do things. Read a book instead of TV every now and then. Listen to a new podcast, learn something new. There's always a really fun way to be involved, to be active, to unwind while keeping our mind and body stimulated as well. Let's talk about number 2. I'm just going to call this one healthy habits. So things like get plenty of sleep, eat right, get your fruits, your vegetables in, have a balanced diet, limit alcohol intake, have a glass of wine, maybe 2, right? But always keeping in mind not to overindulge. Keep up with your doctor and checkups. They're going to be the one that's going to help guide you with things like blood pressure, cholesterol, your A1C blood sugar levels, checking in with your vision, checking in with your hearing. All of these things, they change over time. It happens to all of us. So things might be great now, but next year things might change. And it's really a shame when those things go undetected that could have been detected sooner. So make sure you're keeping up with the doctor, keep up with the healthy habits, take your daily vitamin if you can, right? Get that fresh air, but also take some vitamins to help support that. Get one of those pill organizers if you take medications. Goodness, I know I have gone times where I'm on pills and I go, gosh, did I remember to take that one today? I don't remember. And I have to go back to the pill bottle and go, I don't remember how many are supposed to be in here. It's the worst feeling, right? If you get one of those organizers, it does really help. Then you don't have to question anymore. So do things like that, put good systems in place, and keep up with all of the good, healthy habits that you can. Number 3, wear good footwear, right? So maybe at home, your shoes off like we are at home. But if you find that being shoes off at home can be a little unstable, right? Or you don't like it, look at getting just a pair of shoes for the house, right? A good supportive pair. Maybe you just wear them indoors so you're not bringing everything in from the outdoors, if you're anything like my family. When you're outside of the house, definitely make sure you're wearing good shoes. So if you're going walking or hiking, wear good supportive shoes, a nice sole, good traction and good grip, right? You don't want to be slipping just because of your shoes. Number 4, things around the house, maybe you're doing them yourself, maybe you're not, but get support for the things that you need or find a little bit risky, right? So maybe you're someone who's an avid gardener and you love to garden. Maybe you don't need that landscaper. Maybe you don't need somebody to come, but maybe you need somebody to come trim the trees now, right? Maybe you can't reach the trees. You don't want to get up on the ladder. That seems a bit precarious. There is no harm. There's no shame in saying, nope, that's not for me, or at least right now, right? And just say, nope, that's okay. I'm going to have somebody come by and do the trees. I can do the rest of the garden, not the trees. If you're anything like me, you're not doing any of the gardening because I've got a black thumb. I kill plants by walking by them. So there's no harm. Ask for help where you need it. And another great way, get your groceries delivered. A lot of people find it difficult to have to go grocery shopping, put all the groceries in the trunk or in the car, bring them home, bring them in the house. Maybe you're having to go upstairs, who knows, right? And then unload them. Take a lot of that work out. You can do a lot of the grocery shopping online or have somebody do it for you, give them a list. And then that way you're only dealing with the groceries once they've arrived at your house. It's a lot less cumbersome and a lot less risk of potentially getting hurt or falling in doing so. Number 5, I think it's really important to have honest conversations with your loved ones and be very open. My mother-in-law is excellent at this. She's really good at checking in with us. She's always texting and saying, hey, I'm going to a doctor checkup for this. I might have to have surgery for that, and letting us know. She only lives about 45 minutes away. So for us, we can go see her. She can come see us. We can go stay with her if needed. And it's really great that we live close enough to be able to support one another and keep that line of communication open, because that way we don't have to worry. We don't worry. She knows that we know, and we can check in on each other. That's hugely important. So keep that in mind. There's no harm. There's no shame in aging. It's not something to be embarrassed about. It's not something to be timid about. If you need help, have the confidence to say, I need help. Have the confidence to say, I would like help. It may take a while to get there. It's not something for a lot of people that happens overnight, and we all recognize that. My mom was 100% this way. She thought she was going to live forever. She thought she was going to take care of my dad forever. She was 20 years younger than him. So when he started getting signs of Alzheimer's in his 70s and wasn't diagnosed till his 80s, she was, in her late 50s and early 60s. So she thought, oh, I've got years on him. We had conversations with her and with him about him, but we never got to have any with her. And then she got sick suddenly. She suddenly got Lewy body dementia and Alzheimer's at the same time. It was the worst because she was his caregiver. She was doing everything for my dad. She was retired. She was home with him. She was his power of attorney. She was the person to drive. She would do the grocery shopping. She'd do the cooking. And yes, my brother lives with them, or lived with both of them when they were both around. And he was there to support, but no one had conversations about what happens when mom gets sick, because she thought she'd live forever. My father passed. My mother, as of now, is still with us. It's been a little over a year since my dad passed. And it's hard because mom's prognosis and quick onset dementia made it very difficult to know what to do, to be able to have those conversations around where would you like to go? How would you like to age? What do you want to happen? Do you want to stay home with the caregiver 24/7? Do you want to move to a facility where there are tons of people and more of a social aspect, and there are people that are medical professionals trained 24/7 there to help you, right? Those are all questions that are so hard to ask once it started, because honestly, my mom wasn't really able to tell us. And that's been a heartbreaking thing for everybody. So if I can say anything, just have these conversations with your family members. Be honest about it, because you never know when something can happen. If it's not cognitive decline, it could be something physical. And then if you haven't prepared the house or thought about it, it can be very overwhelming when you're already dealing with another physical ailment to have to deal with prepping your house and prepping your family members for what you want done now. So if I can offer any advice, talk to your family, have an open, honest communication, and tell them what you want. Get organized. It doesn't have to be scary. It can be kind of fun. It can be a good way to really take ownership of your life. It can be a great way to take ownership of aging, to take control, and you can be the one in the driver's seat because now everyone has the roadmap together, right? Put it in writing, put it in a binder, put it in a file on your computer, however you want to do it. If everyone's got a roadmap, everyone knows what you want, then that way when things might happen, everyone knows what to do. I'm Andrea West. Thanks so much for sticking with me today. Again, I am an SRES realtor. That stands for Senior Real Estate Specialist. I work with buyers and sellers of all ages. I love working with seniors. My parents inspired me to want to work with seniors more. And I welcome speaking to any senior and their family member and offer a free consultation because I know how overwhelming it can be to not know where to start with yourself or a loved one in the aging process, especially when it comes to housing. So my QR code is in the banner. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'm here to help anytime. And I've got tons of resources, places to reach out, things to keep in mind and to help you in your life. Till next time. Take care.